Hi, and welcome to Enchantment of Eternity's review for Vikings Season 4, Episode 14, In the Uncertain Hour Before the Morning. This video is a part of a series of videos where I review episodes of Vikings, so I'll have to give you a spoiler warning for Vikings up to Season 4, Episode 14. If you haven't seen up to this point, you may not want to watch this video, otherwise some things may be spoiled for you. So, I didn't do a review for the two previous episodes, so I might touch on them briefly. But I will focus primarily on this episode, which was a powerful episode indeed. We got the death of a main character who's been on the show since Season 2 within the first 5 minutes of the episode. Vikings has always been a bit nonchalant when they kill off characters, even those who have been on the show for a long time, and I love it. I find it quite refreshing as compared to most other shows that make a huge deal out of every little death. But don't get me wrong, the show certainly did give importance to Asalog's death. I'll be honest, she's a character I never really liked in the first place, not because she stole Ragnar from Lagertha. I actually blame Ragnar himself for that, as he was the one that was a total idiot to leave Lagertha, but because her storylines were always boring, and she's just an annoying character I don't enjoy seeing on screen. So I must admit I was very pleased that we got her death, and it was awesome the way that they did it with Lagertha taking over as queen. Now, I'll be honest, I have no idea where they're going to go with this storyline, so I'm really curious to see how this plays out, particularly with Ragnar's sons, who don't seem too pleased with Lagertha killing their mother. Although Sigurd didn't really seem to care that much, as he remembered all the times that she spent with Harbard, and he was jealous that she gave Ivar more attention. But I have a feeling that they're not just going to let it go, so it will be interesting how this will be resolved. And for that matter, it will be interesting to see how Ivar reacts to this once he returns. But it was interesting that Asalog died with a smile on her lips. Is that because she knew it was coming, or because she knew what her death would set in motion? Or is it because she thought that Ivar was dead and she was going to join him? If that was the case, well, she will be sorely disappointed when she gets to the gates of Valhalla. Anyway, so we didn't get any of Bjorn or his journey in this episode, and to be honest, I kind of like that about this episode. Not that I have anything against Bjorn or his journey. In fact, I think it just got more interesting with the addition of Rollo to their little group, but I thought it was great to take a little break from that and focus more on Ragnar in this episode. So let's get to Ragnar, as that was the heart of the episode. First off, I'm still unsure if this was his original plan when he returned to England. I think maybe he did originally plan on attacking them, otherwise why bring any warriors with him at all? But surely he knew his little ragtag group of old men farmers would be no match for King Ekbark's mighty forces, but otherwise why bring them at all? It seems to me that he only decided to kill the remaining ones after they took such heavy losses in the storm, so he realized at that stage they were nothing but a burden. So I think it wasn't until then that his plan was to surrender, otherwise why bring anyone with him at all, especially his son Ivar, who was put in danger. So it does seem to me that his plan now is to die to get his sons motivated to attack England, as at the moment no one was motivated to attack England, as no one really cared about it anymore, and they were more focused on the Mediterranean, so it seems his death would be just the motivation that they would need. So when Ragnar told Ekbark that his actions were part of a larger and bold strategy, even though he was just echoing Ekbark's words, I do think that this is the case. But whether or not he will keep his word and tell his sons not to attack Ekbark, that he's a friend, I'm not sure if this is the case or not. So all these scenes we got with Ekbark and Ragnar were absolutely amazing. I've been waiting a really long time to see the two of them together again for several years, and we finally get to see them together, and it pays off in spades as their interactions were truly great drama. The verbal sparring was interesting, and then when they got drunk and were arguing about the gods, that was funny, and just the way that the two of them reminisce like two old friends when really there's an undercurrent of them both knowing that one way or another Ekbark has to kill Ragnar. It was particularly interesting when Ragnar met Alfred, and he recognized instantly that he was Athelstan's son, and he seemed quite happy knowing that Athelstan had an heir. In fact, the whole conversation between Ragnar and Ekbark about Athelstan was really fascinating. How Ragnar finally confirms what Ekbark already knew, that he was killed, and it was interesting when they speculated which god or gods he was with. It was pretty much the common bond that the two of these people shared that actually made them friends. And it's interesting when Ragnar met his son Magnus, and his response was he never had sex with his mother. It made me wonder if this was true, because I never really believed Quintrith when she said he was Ragnar's son. However, when I mentioned this in an earlier review, a commenter pointed out that she did have sex with Ragnar in Season 3, but now Ragnar claims all she did was piss on him. Is that the case? I tend to think so, as there was something in the way that she claimed Ragnar was the father that just rang false. Although I don't really remember this scene in Season 3 very well. It's been several years since I've seen it, so I can't really speak to it. I'd have to go back and look at it. Ekbark seems to feel the same way as I do, because as soon as Ragnar claimed not to be the father, Ekbark said he always suspected that was the case. So I don't really get what happened next with Aethelwulf just kicking Magnus out and just leaving him to fend for himself. Seems to imply that if he stayed, others would kill him. Is that because he's Ragnar's son, or because it would soon become common knowledge that he isn't? I'm not sure. I just don't really get this scene, but either way, it made me hate Aethelwulf even more. He's a bit of a dick. So yes, it will be interesting to see if Ragnar does keep his word to Ekbark and tell Ivar he is a friend, and even if he does, will his sons actually take this to heart and leave him alone. This will all be interesting to see. Either way, I'm totally impressed with how bold the show is being. This is the kind of progress I've been waiting for several years, and it seems the show is moving swiftly indeed and evolving into something else, and I absolutely cannot wait to see where they go with it. So my rating for The Uncertain Hour Before the Morning out of 10 is a 9. Excellent. This was a great dialogue-driven episode, as the interactions between Ekbark and Ragnar were absolutely amazing and every bit as satisfying as I'd hoped they'd be. And it was totally fascinating seeing them reminisce like old friends and appreciate each other even though publicly they're enemies. And we did get some action scenes with Lagerthus, or with her takeover, and the death of Asalog, whom I can't say I'm sorry to see go. So overall, a very powerful episode that has me very excited for the show overall. So that's it for my review of In the Uncertain Hour Before the Morning. Be sure to check out my channel as I continue to review episodes of Vikings, as well as doing many more videos on shows like Game of Thrones, Star Trek, and more. So be sure to subscribe so you can keep up with all of that. And thanks a lot for watching.